People are different from one another, and today that's what we're going to teach our primary students. Hi, I'm Nadine Thornhill, sexuality educator. Welcome to my series, Safe Sex Ed, where I teach every sex education module from Ontario's 2015 Health and Phys Ed curriculum. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe by clicking the button down below. And if you'd like to learn what this series is all about, you can click the eye floating above us. Today I have a returning guest. You may remember him if you watched our video on consent. Andrew's back!
Hey!
So for those of you who may not have seen that video, tell us a bit about yourself and your work.
My name's Andrew Gurza. I'm a disability awareness consultant, sex educator, and crippled content creator around sex, queerness, and disability.
Andrew and I are different, so we're going to talk to you today about
Are you
different.
so shocked that we're different from each other?
It's pretty controversial.
I mean, whoa.
I know. It's a lot, but it's okay, because we're going to walk you through it. The Health and Phys Ed curriculum for grades 1 through 8 outline the following learning objectives for grade 3. Describe how visible differences and invisible differences make each person unique, and identify ways of showing respect for differences in others.
The language they're using here talks about visible and invisible differences, and I think it's important that we also be sure to include disabilities. So when we talk about visible and invisible, we can also talk about visible disabilities like mine. I'm a wheelchair user, and you can clearly see that I am a wheelchair user and have disabilities. There are some people, though, who live with disabilities that are invisible, like chronic pain, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a bunch of different disabilities that we can see, and it's important that we recognize that too. And when we talk about differences, we have to be sure to also include the word disability in that as well.
Amazing.
Because the word differences can sometimes unintentionally come off as a little bit ableist.
Some people believe this unit is all about teaching third graders about gender identity and sexual orientation. What this unit is actually about is teaching kids that there are different types of people. Gender identity and sexual orientation are two ways that people might be different, but the lesson overall can be about all sorts of things, including disabilities, race, hair color, eye color, and personal experiences. The setup for today's activity is really easy because you don't need any materials at all. First, have your students break off into pairs, or if the numbers in your classroom require it, you can have one group of 3. If your classroom dynamics support it, you can encourage your students to partner up with people they don't know so well. Our dynamic supports us being partners because we're the only ones here, but also we make awesome partners.
Totally we do.
High five.
High five.
Yay.
In the curriculum, we talk a lot, too much sometimes, about visible and invisible differences. This is a problem because guess what? Some people don't process things through visualization alone.
Some people make observations by hearing or by touching. And so for this activity, rather than say visible or invisible, I'm going to be using the term observable and non-observable. For the first part of the exercise, your students are going to talk to their partner and identify 3 observable ways that they are different from one another.
You are a woman.
And you are a man.
You are a person of color.
And you are a white person. I am able-bodied.
I am disabled.
Differences. For the next part of the exercise, ask your students to talk about 3 invisible or non-observable differences between them.
I'm Jewish.
And I don't subscribe to any particular religion.
My parents are divorced.
One of my parents has died. I have attention deficit disorder.
I have irritable bowel syndrome.
Differences. For the final part of the activity, have your students ask their partner to talk about something that they like about one of their differences, or a way that it is positive. So I actually like a lot of things about being a Black person. I actually really like the way that I look. I like my skin tone. I really like my hair texture. But beyond that, I like that I have a connection to a really rich, diverse kind of global culture that seems to really appeal to a lot of people. I love our music. I love, our style, and I love just the resilience of Black people and the Black spirit.
I like that I'm a wheelchair user. I like that I don't get around the world in the typical way. I like that I get to glide through the world on 4 wheels as opposed to 2 legs. I also like that I like disability culture. I like that they're much like with racialized communities. There's a rich, diverse culture of disabled people, and I like that I get to be a part of that. And I love that I get to use my voice to amplify that history.
That's amazing. And that's it. If you're doing this exercise at home, you can explore differences with your child by talking about, the differences between them and another family member, or the differences between them and perhaps a friend of theirs. If you'd like to explore differences a little more in your classroom or at home, here are some questions you can use to kick off further conversation. What do you think the world would be like if everyone were the same? When is it fun for you to feel different from others? Here are some resources if you would like to bring some books about differences into your classroom or your home. Read A Crayon Story by Michael Hall. I have a review of that book on my channel. I'll link to it below. It's Okay to Be Different by Todd Parr. My Princess Boy by Cheryl Kilodavis. Nonnie Talks About Gender and Nonnie Talks About Race by Mary Jo Podgurski. And finally, What's the Most Beautiful Thing About Horses by Richard Van Kamp. And you had a resource to recommend as well, right? For teachers.
I do, yeah. This book is called The Ultimate Guide to Sex and Disability. It's a book about 15 years old now, but it's a really good primer if you want to teach your kids about disabled bodies, or if you have a disabled student that wants to learn more about their body. It's a great place to start. It's by Fran Odette, Miriam Kaufman, and Cory Silverberg.
That's about it for us, but before we go, can you tell folks where they can find you?
You can find me at my website, www.andrewgurza.com. You can follow my podcast, Disability After Dark, every Friday on Apple iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and now Spotify. You can hire me through Twitter at Andrew Gurza or my website, and thanks so much, Nadine. It was great to be here.
Thank you so much for being here.
It was so fun.
In the comments below, let me know what it is that you love about yourself. That's all for now. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
You can help me continue creating free sex ed content by supporting me on Patreon. For as little as $3 a month, you'll get access to all sorts of goodies, so head on over to patreon.com/Nadine Thornhill or click the link down in the description below.